Bringing you this breaking news on Herman Cain. We are just getting word that he has passed away due to coronavirus complications. We know that he had been hospitalized after he was diagnosed with COVID-19. The former presidential candidate and business executive has passed away. His website has put out a statement saying that we are heartbroken and the world is poor. Herman Cain has gone to be with the Lord. It begins, you're never ready for the kind of news that we're grappling with this morning, but we have no choice but to seek and find God's strength and comfort to deal with it. We know that he was hospitalized among one of the highest profile figures in the U.S. to have contracted the virus, and now he has passed away. A 74-year-old survivor of stage 4 colon cancer. He was a business executive, as you all know, board chairman of a branch of Kansas City's Federal Reserve Bank before moving into Republican politics and eventually becoming a presidential candidate. So the country will mourn the loss of Herman Cain, just getting word that he has passed away. John Roberts is live at the White House on that news this morning. John?
And the last time that I saw Herman Cain was at President Trump's rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma. He waved as he went by. And it was not long after that, June the 29th, that he was diagnosed with coronavirus and went to an Atlanta hospital. A month after being diagnosed, he remained on a ventilator, although people who were close to him were saying that it appeared as though he might be getting better. The word that went out was that his organs were strong, that they were trying to heal his lungs with an infusion of oxygen through a ventilator. But don't forget, Herman Cain did have some underlying conditions. Back in 2006, he had colon cancer, which had spread to his liver. He was also 74 years old, Sandra, which put him right at sort of at the apex of that high-risk group of people who sometimes do so badly with coronavirus. We also know that African Americans suffer severe coronavirus disease at a higher percentage than other people do as well. So I covered his presidential campaign back in 2012. He'll always be forever known as Mr. 999. When I was stationed in our Atlanta bureau, he was a frequent visitor, as well as he was a contributor to Fox News. That is, until we got the remote camera put into his home in Stockbridge, and then he no longer had to make the drive to Atlanta. But the sad news this morning that after a long battle, much of it on a ventilator with coronavirus, Herman Cain finally succumbed to the illness and has passed away this morning at the age of 74. Missed by a lot of people. When
he passed away, he was co-chair of the Black Voices for Trump. He had attended the president's Tulsa rally in June. Right. Obviously, that was one of the last times that we had seen him publicly. He was hospitalized for about a month. But John, to go back to your point, as of an update from his team via Twitter, Facebook, and his website yesterday, he was still hospitalized, but he was being treated for oxygen. The doctor said his organs and systems were still strong. Unfortunately, as is this disease, it is unpredictable, and sometimes people feel better or appear to be better and then get worse. They even said he's really getting better, which means it's working. And
yeah, as I pointed out, they had put out that statement on Twitter about the fact that they thought that he was actually getting better. But as Dr. Mark Siegel will tell you, Dr. Manny will tell you, what sometimes happens with people is they appear to be getting better, and then all of a sudden, because of a overactive immune system, they get something called a cytokine storm, which literally fills the lung with fluids, and they basically drown of their own lymphatic fluid entering the lungs. And I mean, he wouldn't have known what was happening to him, because when you're on a ventilator, you are put into a medical coma because you just couldn't stand having that tube down your throat and into your trachea, and the machine pumping your lungs. So he wouldn't have known what was happening to him, but so many people around him did. But I'm not saying that that's what happened, but that's what we have seen happen in many, many cases in people who are in a similar age and risk category as Herman Cain, that you could even look like you're getting better, and then all of a sudden you go south very rapidly, and death comes on very quickly as a result.
He had just started hosting a new show. He was very excited about it.
Yes.
But his website saying Herman Cain has gone to be with the Lord. And we mourn the loss of Herman Cain this morning, 74 years old. had been admitted to the hospital a month ago due to COVID-19 diagnosis. John Roberts, if you could stand by at the White House for us.
Yeah, Sandra, if there's just one other thing I could point out. At that Tulsa rally, everybody who was going to get close to the president, and that would have included Herman Cain, and because I went through it myself, were tested for coronavirus disease. They had a couple of tents that were set up outside of the center there in Tulsa, and he would have tested negative at that point. Otherwise, he would not have been allowed into the rally. So something happened between Tulsa and the 29th where he contracted the virus. Not to say he got it at the rally.
Yeah.
There were some staffers who showed positive, some Secret Service who showed positive, both prior to the rally actually beginning and in the aftermath. Not to say that happened to Herman Cain, but it's likely that he would have been negative for coronavirus on that day because he would have been tested.
Would have been tested. He was hospitalized in Atlanta on July 1st. 2 days after being told that he had tested positive. So Herman Cain has left us, and as his website says, has gone to be with the Lord.